No, I don't want them to gain another yard. You blitz all night!
Oh, that's what you hope Joe Schoen is going to do for the Giants free agency here in 2024. This is Tim, this is New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to talk about Giants, want to talk about free agents, want to talk about realistic options. I know we always like to talk about the fact that we are going to go out and get like Chris Jones or something silly like that. Because if we look at the cap space, we've talked about this before. You're looking at anywhere currently between 28 to 29 million. I don't have the numbers directly in front of me again. You could potentially get that above 50, but doing so, you're going to have limited players under your contract, under your roster. Then you're going to have to hope that you hit on all your all your draft choices, and hope the draft choices from the last 2 years pan out. And that's a lot of hope. Well, hope, you know what? Hope can sometimes make you look like a dope. You need some realism. You need some thought process. You need something that's going to tell you know what we have to do? You know what Joe Schoen has to do?
Gotta get to work.
He's got to get to work Willie Beeman style. You know why?
Come on. My name is Willie. Beeman. I keep the ladies screaming, and all my fans got screaming. You can defeat me. You're dreaming.
Flex your chest. Get metrics. You got to do the whole video. I don't know why I cut that clip off short, but you got to get to work. But Joe Schoen also has to be careful. He's got to monitor the contracts he's going to have coming up soon with Evan Neal. Not soon, but they are going into year 3 already with Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau and a few other players. You got to look at that big albatross of a deal that you have sitting there out there for Daniel Jones. You have to sit there and slap your hands and say, don't touch that shit, Joe. You gotta work within a budget. You can't Gettleman it. We've Gettleman it a little too many times. We Gettleman it a little bit last year. Yes, Bobby Okereke was a great signing, but we paid probably about $5 million too much a year for an off-the-ball linebacker if you go by the market value. You also have Paris Campbell, who didn't work out. You got Darren Waller, of course, he wasn't a free agent, but he didn't work out. You got a lot of your free agents that didn't work out. So you need to find realistic young options that can be controllable at times for the Giants. Immediately, people are going to go to the top 10 free agents like Chris Jones. Chris Jones, he played on the tag last year for $15.9. He is not going to go back to Kansas City. He's 29 years old. He's probably going to leave for one of the biggest paydays ever for an interior lineman. He's not coming to the Giants. I personally love Josh Allen. What do you have, 17.5 sacks last year? He was the guy I wanted the Giants to draft over Daniel Jones in 2019. I have 2 Josh Allen jerseys. I've worn them on the stream before. There's no bones about it, but he's not leaving Jacksonville. Jacksonville will likely tag him. I mean, if you were Jacksonville, you'd be stupid not to tag him. And then you take a look at the likes of like an Antonio Winfield Jr., the safety for the Buccaneers. Good playmaker. He can cover the inside man. He can play deep. He's not going to get burned, but he's too important to Todd Bowles, so he's not going anywhere. He's going to be tagged. You're looking for a run stopper that you maybe can put alongside your old buddy Dexter Lawrence. You got Christian Wilkins, the defensive tackle for the Dolphins. Good run stopper. Dominant. He's a guy that's a dominant pass rusher on the inside. I believe he had 9 sacks, but I don't think he's going anywhere out of Miami. Everyone's going to be talking about Danielle Hunter coming off 16.5 seasons. What, do you have 16.5 sacks this season? Finally, he stayed healthy. He's going to get that big payday he's looking for. They're going to be saying, well, we got to get him with Andre Patterson. We got to bring him. We got to bring in Mr. Hunter because he is going to be that guy. He could be that destructive force to go alongside Kayvon Thibodeau. Here's the problem. You go with someone like Hunter. You know what you're going to do? You are going to wreck your spending. You're going to wreck your cap, and you're going to take a lot of money, and you are going to place it on 4 or 5 guys like we've already done on the top of your roster. And you're going to go off a guy that you're going to hope is going to be coming back from expectations. He's been in the league for a while. Like I said, he's going to be hitting on the wrong side of 30. I just don't see that as a viable option. I mean, he was averaging $17 million a year, so he's probably going to look anywhere between 14 to 17 million as well. I think he could be, I believe he could be tagged also, and he would be tagged at 14.9 million. So he's not going anywhere. And again, that's a guy that you can't sit there and tell me you can put all your eggs in that basket because there's too many other things that are missing from the basket. One person I would like to see the Giants go out and get, and this is a kid that I met at the Senior Bowl in Texas a couple years back, and that's Michael Pittman Jr. You can go back. You can actually go watch the video. He's a guy. To me, he's a number one, but he's a little bit of a in between the 20s player. He had 109 catches, 1,152 yards. But the problem is this: the Colts aren't going to let him go because they have Anthony Richardson. They got tons of cap space, so the Colts aren't going to let him go. Mike Evans is also going to be available. The Bucks have the money. He's coming off 79 catches, 1,255 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's won a Super Bowl. He is like a god in Tampa. I know a lot of people in Tampa still. He's like a god in Tampa. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere whatsoever. He's going to stay in Tampa. Then everyone's going to point out T. Higgins. We got to go out and get T. Higgins. Guys, the Bucks have the cap space to tag him. You could franchise. They could easily franchise a 25-year-old wide receiver coming off a down season. He's a guy that uses his size. He works well with Jamar Chase. He's everything that you want him to be as a wide receiver. He's been getting consistent. He's had some injury issues, but he's gonna get tagged. I'm gonna drink some of this wonderful Black Rifle coffee. I'm trying to see who else on this list would make sense for the Giants to go after. Because anyone the Giant fans are gonna want, they're gonna say Brian Burns. Let's go to get him out of Jacksonville. Not Jacksonville, out of the Panthers. He's only 25 years old, Tim. He dropped down to 8 sacks this year, but of course it could be just where he played. He's more comfortable getting to the passer as a weak side linebacker, kind of like a Kayvon Thibodeau. He's a guy that's probably gonna command some cash. And again, are you going to be willing this year with the quarterback issue you have in flux to turn around and get someone like Brian Burns to pair with someone like Kayvon Thibodeau on the other side? I'm going to say no, because again, like I said, he's gonna want to get paid, and I understand that. I mean, like I said, he's 25 years old. This is going to be his contract year. I mean, so if I'm him, I'm going to be looking to go around the marketplace. I'm also going to be looking at probably go to a team that's probably not going to be as in flux as the Giants are. A lot of these people have to remember. Everyone's like, "Well, we'll get them in free agency." Well, you also have to remember. You have to understand. Do they even want to come here in free agency? Do you want to spend the extra money? We talk about, we talk about Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell came here because we were the only one offering him money. I mean, that's something to say. Could you get him maybe Burns for anywhere between 13 to 16 million a year? Yeah, probably. He might even be looking for a little bit more than that. But he last salary was 16 million, so he's probably going to be looking for at least that or above. And once again, are we going to put all of our eggs in these baskets and not look at the fact that we probably need multitudes of free agents? I like someone, I like Marquez Hollywood Brown. He's a guy you thought he was gonna play better with Kyler Murray and everything else, but of course Kyler got hurt. He's a good vertical threat. Is he a complete option? No, I think he's a compliment wide receiver, but I think he's a solid number 2, bordering on a number 1. I think he's a guy that if you move on from the likes of Darius, he could easily replace someone like Darius Slayton. I think he would be affordable enough. I know he's ranked like in the 20s in reference to free agency, but I think he could be affordable enough for someone like the Giants to go out and get. You're always looking to bring in these weapons, looking to bring in these talent. I mean, he made 15 million. What did he make last year? He made 13 million last year, so he's probably going to look at 13 and above. He's only 5. Again, he's only 5'10", 160 pounds, so he's going to be one of those wide receivers going to be slidable, but he is going to be a speed guy. He can work probably with Jalen Hyatt. We do need a big target. I talked about. I love the kid out of Florida State in the draft. But, he's someone that would make a little bit more sense. Is also a free agent.
King of the almost sack.
I would love just to bring him back so I can bring back the sound effect. He's not a pass rusher anymore. He's not a stout defensive run stopper anymore. he is going downwards. His ceiling is not there at 29 years old anymore. So bringing someone like that back would be would probably be not the best thought process. You know, it'd be interesting, and I don't know if he would go back. I don't know if he would come back to Jacksonville. It's Calvin Ridley, 29 years old. He did play. He had the issues. So in Atlanta, he had 76 catches for over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. There was really no. I mean, you didn't really see any chemistry with him and Trevor Lawrence. And he really couldn't step up to be that number one guy that Jacksonville was looking for. I mean, he would be another guy, if you're looking for a stopgap guy for a couple years that the Giants could bring in and work with. I mean, would he be, again, attainable to coming to the Giants? He is 29 years old, so we figure he may want to, he may potentially want to go somewhere where he's going to win, or is he just looking for his payday? Listen, I got no problem with players just looking for a payday. And he's had his issues. He had to sit out. So he is another gentleman that, if you want a realistic option, I think a more attainable realistic option, it could be Calvin Ridley. But again, you would be taking a chance on him. You would be taking more than a flyer for him. And I think that's, to me, is one of the biggest issues. Do you want to take a flyer on a guy that may have some issues? I don't think he's going to be truculent with the media. He's basically coming off a 4-year, $10 million contract. He's probably going to want to look, you're probably going to look, he was looking for a payday. He made $11 million last year. You probably think he's going to be looking anywhere between 8 to 11 million. He is someone you can fit under the cap. I mean, I think he would be a attainable option. I'm trying to think who else is out there. You know what's funny? Chase Young is out there. 24 years old. He was the number 2 pick over in 2020. He ended up with 7.5 sacks for Washington and San Francisco. He has not been the guy that people thought he was going to be. And I think he's someone that you could easily have him. You could easily get him. I don't think he's a part of the long-term solution in San Francisco. And he is a guy you can bring in with the Giants and pair him alongside Kayvon Thibodeau. Not a bad idea. Kevin Zeidler's back out there. Oh, Kevin Zeidler. He led the Rams with overall blocking the last 3 years. I hated when we got rid of Kevin Zeidler. I hated when we got rid of Kevin Zeidler. He is 33 years old now. He would be a guy that could help solidify the guard position. But the question again is going to be, what is he going to be looking for? He is going to be at the tail end of his career. Is he looking for something in reference to the fact that he wants to play for a winner? When you hit these older ages, a lot of times I'll tell you like this: you're either looking for a contract, that's going to carry you into retirement, or you're looking to go on a championship team if you took care of your money. I don't know what Kevin Zeidler's deal is, but like I said, as a stopgap guy to come in here, he's coming off a 3-year, $22 million contract. He took a sweetheart of a deal over with the Ravens. He's got deferred money and cap money going all the way out to 2027. So I think he probably is going to end up staying in Baltimore, but he's a guy that if he wanted to come back, I would welcome him with open arms. I'm trying to think if anyone else is out there that I'm really, I do like Patrick Queen, the linebacker with the Ravens. He had 133 tackles last year, plus 3.5 sacks and interception. He's a pass rusher when he has to be a pass rusher, but he is a rangy guy. He's able to cover the field. He's a side-to-side linebacker. He has the ability to go out there and cover and stop the run. He is only 24 years old. I liked him coming out of the draft. I don't like the fact that he wears 0 because that just annoys me. That's just one of my little bugaboos. He wears 0, so that annoys me. He is a guy coming off, his rookie deal, 4 years, $12 million. He only made $3 million last year. He's probably going to look at a higher market value right now. I mean, he could probably get like $18 million a year because of what he does and who he is. He was a third ranked inside linebacker and he was ranked 73rd in the NFL and referenced all linebackers. I think he's a guy that's going to probably end up staying in Baltimore. But, like I said, if you want to take a swing at a free agent to help your linebacking court, help Kayvon Thibodeau, help the likes of Bobby Okereke and McFadden and other people, and take some pressure off Banks and something, he would be a guy for the Giants. And like I said, I mean, there's just not I think you need to bring back Xavier McKinney. You know what's funny? Mekhi Beckham is a free agent. I mean, I wouldn't touch Mekhi Beckham with a 10-foot Mekhi Beckham pole. I'm trying to think who else is out there. What's interesting? Tyler Boyd is also available coming out of Cincinnati. He's a good route runner, good hands. He does everything that you need him to do in the slot. He's got the frame. He's got the size. But I think, if anything, if I'm Tyler Boyd, I'm probably because they need wide receivers, I probably would go to Tennessee. I mean, I think Tennessee would probably be a better fit for him. But like I said, contract value wise, I think he would be a good fit for the Giants. I think he's probably, like I said, he probably can get a Darius Slayton type salary. He maybe gets like $7 to $8 million. I mean, he's a guy that is 29 years old, been in the league for 7 years. But he's another good fit for the Giants. Yeah, I think he would be a good fit to bring in for the G-Men. I think it would be an affordable fit. Devin White, the linebacker, also the Buccaneers, is available. I've loved Devin White coming out of college. Speedy, rangy, pass rushing guy. Is he that run stopper that you thought he was going to be? No. He has some issues. He's got some issues in coverage. Yes. He's one of those guys that has a really high upside, but then the downside could be horrible. He could turn into a guy that you love, and then the next day he could just be one of those free agents you just scratch your head and like, why the hell did the Giants sign him? But so he would be a big swing and a miss. He would be a hit and miss. In my mind, he would be a hit or miss prospect. Would the Giants think about that? He would be a great athletic linebacker for the Giants. He's coming off that rookie deal. He made $11 million last year. He again, though, it depends. It really depends on the marketplace. He could probably get a big deal from somebody. I think he could probably get it above $13 million, if not more. But it depends. It depends on what the market value is for him. Out there, I would love to get someone like Jonah Jackson from the Lions. He's not going anywhere. He's not going there. He's a guy that's got he's a little bit shaky in pass protection, but he's not going anywhere. It'd be interesting. Ryan Tannehill's out there. Ryan Tannehill at 36 years old. If you're looking for a transition quarterback, he is a guy that you could probably bring in. He's already made a lot of money. So will he take like a Baker Mayfield type deal? He might. And it could be someone that the Giants could consider. I'm worried the Giants are going to bring in Gabe Davis. He's got everything. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got everything to be that number one guy. He's just been inconsistent as shit with his route running in his hands. So I just worried that it's gonna be a Dable reunion with the wide receiver Gabe Davis. I don't know, guys. It's the limited amount of cap space. It's the top heavy contracts we have currently that bother me. It's just there's just so many things right now for this Giant organization. You just kind of look at it and still you scratch your head. I do think we're going to have another down year in 2024. We have to just wait and see what happens. We'll do an entire who should the Giants sign video coming up in the next couple of weeks. Don't forget the big old live stream on Sunday. I don't think I'm going to have any guests on. I think I'm just going to have everyone I think I'm just going to answer questions like we do sometimes for like 2 hours or so. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's going to be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. And as always, this is Tim. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'll be also